Hello everyone, welcome back to Overcharged Games. Today I'm gonna do another updated Killer and Survivor tier list because my opinions in this game changed a lot, and also a lot of stuff has changed since the last time I made a tier list. So yeah, I decided to make that, and also I wasn't really sure what else to do because I was gonna upload a pod playtime video, but I have way too much stuff to do to end a 5 hour long video, so and also it's been a week since the game's come out already. And I don't think anyone would be that interested in it. But yeah, so I'm gonna just do a Forsaken tier list. So yeah, let's just I'm gonna also preface some stuff before the video because I realize it's kind of important. We're assuming that you're playing at a high skill level and everyone involved is highly skilled when it comes to this experiment or tier list. And also, I'm basing this mostly on consistency. A killer or survivor that is a monster in certain situations and trash in others is not going to be ranked as high as someone who's consistently somewhat decent. So with that, we'll get on to the tier list. So first up, we're going to go with all the killer. We're going to start with all the killers first. With the first one being Slasher. Slasher is in the public lobby. You can probably play him pretty consistently and get fairly good results because he's basically how good he's mostly depend on the survivor team. If they're not that great, you're probably gonna be able to pick them off one by ones. If they're really well coordinated, which is what we're assuming this experiment, though, you're not going to get much. You're probably just going to get bullied the entire game because the problem is he just loses so much more from everything. Like a killer like 1X or Get66 or Noli doesn't lose nearly as much as Slasher does because Slasher has no way to gain distance other than just running at the survivor, whereas everyone else has ways to increase their mobility or attack from a range. So that and Slasher has none of that, which makes him just overall fairly. I don't think he's the worst, but it is pretty close. And honestly, you can very easily argue that he's the worst in skill against a skill team. He's going in C tier, very bottom of C tier. He's not the worst, but that isn't saying much because the worst is really, really bad. Next up is Cool Kid. Cool Kid is actually a really decent killer. He is just decent. That's how I describe him. Corrupt Nature. I used to think that Nova was just a better version of Corrupt Nature, but actually, it's kind of so. It's kind of Corrupt Nature has the advantage of just it has no wind up and can go through walls, whereas Nova can't go through walls and has a wind up. So they're pretty equal. And then when it comes to Void Rush is definitely better than Walk Speed Override, but it's not by much. And pizza delivery and the problem difference between Noli and Cool Kid is that Cool Kid is just his base stats are really good. He is very fast, and so even though he doesn't have the best abilities, he is just going to be all around decent because he's just really fast. And also, pizza delivery minions are pretty good ways of applying pressure to survivors if they don't just kill them. Overall, he is just a really decent killer. I would highly recommend it if you're a new player. He's not the best, but he is really good. Noli. Noli has gone through a lot of changes over years. At one point, he was arguably one of the best killers in the game. Now he's definitely far from that. He is definitely not a very good killer. Main problem is that his hallucinations are just completely useless. So I'm pretty sure when he first came out they didn't do much then, but and then there was this point where they made so the hallucinations you couldn't get anything done when you had a hallucination on when you had a fake Noli on you because they just interrupted you and just blocked you from everything. So he was pretty good at applying pressure. He was able to just pick off people one by one at that point, but problem now is that though none of that exists, his hallucinations do nothing, and when it comes to just how powerful he is, he gets looped really easily. Like really, you can kind of just outrun him. Like as long as you're paying attention to Void Rush, as long as you're keeping Void Rush in check, you can just kind of outrun him or loop him. And there's not much he can do about it because his base walk and run speed isn't the best. So the strategy of Noli is usually just use Observant, try avoid someone, fail, get looped for a minute, and then like try again. Which is not that great. It's better than Slasher just because at least you'll like catch a few survivors off from time to time, but like assuming they're all relatively decent, you're just not going to get much with them. John Doe. I've seen a lot of people saying John Doe is the best killer, and don't get me wrong, he is decent. He isn't terrible like I used to think he was. But he is definitely far from the best. There is just the especially for this tier list, which where I'm basing off of consistency, and there's just the glaring issue with John Doe that he is by far the most map dependent killer in the game. Like on a map like Horror Hotel or Art Gallery, you have so many places to cut off survivors and you'll just dominate. But on a map like Tempest or York's Resting Place, you just have like zero play. So like when it comes to consistency, isn't that consistent? It's like, and also like the survivors, like first of all, Veronica just kind of negates everything you try to do. You cannot trap a Veronica. And then like it's also like if you don't trap survivors, then you're not going to kill them probably because John Doe without his traps is relatively slow and doesn't have a reliable way to speed up. Like Sniper John Doe is a thing, but it's kind of just meh. It's like you're not getting a lot of damage or utility out of it, with especially considering that you have to use Corrupt Energy, which has a massive windup. So yeah, overall he is just highly dependent on the map. On Horror Hotel, you will dominate. You'll almost always win. On Eurostar's Place, you will almost certainly lose. Whereas like other kills like X6 have some play there, you just don't have any. So I'm gonna just put him middle tier, middle B tier, because at least like on the maps where he's terrible, he doesn't have zero play. Like I said, there's a way for him to win. It's just that he's just so easy to counter when he doesn't have when everything isn't closed off. You can easily just counter him by not getting trapped, like just paying attention. 1x. 1x got a massive buff from the rework. I tried 1x before the rework, and for a while there was a period where I just didn't play 1x, and that caused me to not realize how terrible he was before the rework, because he was genuinely awful if the survivors knew what they were doing at all. Because all he could do was just spam projectiles and hope the survivors just ran into them. Now, however, he is the strongest killer in the game, without a doubt. Like, if you really don't think so, like, there's a bunch of problems with 1x's rework. Like, he's gone from, like, probably one of, if not the worst killer in the game, to the best. Because, like, what I always feel like makes a killer good or not is how easy is it for them to catch up to survivors and how good their anti-loop is, with anti-loop generally being better than being able to catch up to survivors. Whereas most killers, like Cool Kid, is kind of in the middle. John Doe is kind of hard for him to catch up to survivors, but he has really good anti-loop. Guess is kind of the opposite. 1x has both. He has plenty of ways to increase his speed and catch up to survivors, and his entire kit is basically anti-loop. Like, you cannot loop 1x now because his mass infection is just such a big threat, because it's almost impossible to dodge at close range, or like close to moderate range, because it's just so big and fast, and like 30 damage is a lot, and plus he gets a massive speed boost, so regardless if he misses, he's probably going to get some utility out of it. And like also entanglement is insane now. Like before it was bad, kind of bad to get hit by entanglement, but now it's pretty much just a chase ender. Like if you get hit by it, you are almost certainly gonna die in the next like 30 seconds or so because like you lose so much stamina and distance whenever you get hit by entanglement, and on top of that, you're stunned for a second, so you're almost certainly gonna take like 40 damage, and you lose like a full 1 to 2 seconds of running, which is a lot when you're already at a disadvantage or getting chased by a killer. So yeah, um, entanglement getting hit by it is just basically instant death. It's just you can't survive really if you get hit by it, unless if you have like the entire team helping you. And then like all his Raise the Ron definitely got better. Now it's more like, and also like actually let's go back a bit. Unstable Eye is a lot better because now the ability to walk while doing it does a lot more than you may think because it means that you don't lose any stamina if you time it correctly, and that's a lot better. And the short burst of speed is, I would say, it's better than the like speed one for like 5 seconds you got from the previous entanglement. And on top of the fact that you don't lose any stamina for using it, it's just really good to use in a chase. And plus the fact that it's the highlight is based on the health survivor is kind of cool. It allows you to know what survivor is from across the map, no matter what, basically. So yeah, that's really good. Razor on definitely got a buff. Well, yeah, it's mainly just that you can't summon as many minions, but you can summon them basically whenever, and the minions themselves are a lot more powerful. So yeah, they're John Bear. Like, I guess can't just knock them over with a charge anymore. You actually have to waste a stun on a minion to kill them, which makes them a lot better. Because until you do, they're just going to be constantly like threatening you with 15 damage if you ever get close to them. And like also, they're really good for 1x to use as speed. Like speed 1 from 10 seconds is a lot better than you might think. It's especially when you don't have to spend time to do it. You just slap a minion that is nearby and you get 10 and you get speed 1 for 10 seconds. It's really good. So yeah, overall 1x is just very consistent because like now his playstyle is just rush you down while spamming projectiles, and if any hits, you basically just die on the spot. So he is just very powerful now. He is not unstoppable, but he's as close as you can get in this game, really. Get 666. Get 666 is a lot better, I feel, than most people think. A lot of people think that he's just a loopable killer, and that's really all there is to him. But no, there are ways for him to counter looping. Yes, he does get loop. He is weak to looping, but he isn't completely dead if you loop him. Like the only loop I feel like he doesn't get much play against is either the cave loop or the one in Pirates Bay, like towards the back of the map. Those are the only two I feel like Guest really has a hard time countering. Other loops are generally like either too small enough that I guess the 6 can use this many speed boosts he gets to just catch up to you and kill you before you can really get into the loop, or they're big enough for him to utilize Demonic Pursuit, which gives him a lot of distance. And like so he isn't the best killer, but he is really good in my opinion. He's like one of my favorite killers to use, and I feel like he is very powerful. Like Infernal Cry, he basically carries the entire kit. Like when he released, he wasn't nearly as powerful as he is now because the problem before was that his like Manic Fixation passive was purely directional. You had to be facing the survivor, and if you looked away, you lost the speed boost. But now, as long as you're like close enough, you just get a speed boost, which is very powerful, especially when it's so easy to hit an Infernal Cry. Or if you can't do that, just corner them and use Blood Rush, and you get it anyways. So yeah, you have multiple ways to gain speed, and like when it comes to looping, as you play Guess 6 more, you get to learn how to not lose stamina. Like there will be times where you like clip an edge or something, but you can minimize those as you get better at playing a 666. So overall, I think he's going at the top of A tier. He's not the best. Like 1X definitely has better anti-loop, and he's just really powerful right now. But overall, he is a very strong killer, and I highly recommend you like main him for a while. He is very fun and very powerful. Nosferatu. I put him at the top of like S plus tier or something on my previous tier list, I think. Now I realize that the reason that he felt powerful was really just because nobody knew what the flip to do against him. Because and once he became like a shop killer, that went away. Everyone knew how to counter him, and now he's just terrible, absolutely awful. Nothing in his kit goes together. Like you hear us a lot. Nothing in Nosferatu's kit synergizes at all. Like really, he's just a killer with a bunch of abilities slapped on him that do not really do that well. Like I honestly feel like he's worse than Slasher because his abilities are just so easily counterable and just don't really do that much. So Slasher is really fast, so like he can make up for his own mistakes. Nosferatu punishes himself. It feels like he punishes himself for doing good. Like Bloodhook is the counter is just duck behind the corner. Like just loop him, and whenever you see him using Bloodhook, just dodge, just or get behind an obstacle, and it becomes useless. Because like, and even if you hit by it, you can just escape it really easily. And even if you don't, Nosferatu, it's inflicted with slowness and helpless for landing it. Which what I mean by he seems to punish himself for doing good. He punishes himself for successfully using Bloodhook. So yeah, it's not a very good ability, Bloodhook. Um, Cataclysm, it's kind of meh. I used to think it was just like John Doe's digital footprint, but 20 of them. No, there's multiple ways that digital footprint is just kind of better realistically. First of all, it only lasts like only lasts like 15 seconds or something. I can't remember exactly, but like, and digital footprints last an infinite amount of time. Also, like the effects, not only is it 5 seconds of slowness versus 10 seconds of slowness, if a survivor steps in blood puddles, the killer doesn't get anything. Nosferatu doesn't get anything. Whereas if you step in digital footprint, John Doe gains speed. So stepping in a digital footprint is literally just a death sentence, whereas stepping in blood puddle is more of a nuisance. And yeah, it's just like not that great. It's like okay, but not only do you sacrifice a lot of distance, it doesn't do too much if you just it doesn't do too much even if you successfully use it, so it's not that great. Then Hunter Speech just does just about nothing. Like 5 damage is not that much, surprisingly. And also like the 25% damage increase. Wow. You take 25% more damage. That's great. Now let me hit you. Oh wait, you're flipping all the way over there. Like Nosferatu doesn't have much to like catch up in a looping situation. He does have Ascension, but Ascension is kind of like his only thing, and even then it's just terrible because there are so many indications that he's about to dive on you. Not only does he make a global wide like screech, he also shines a beacon in your face. It's very kind of him to literally do everything in his power to make sure you don't get hit by his attack. And like if you don't, then you like and like I already mentioned, his other abilities suck. So like I honestly can't remember the last time I've lost in Nosferatu. It's like just he's just such a terrible killer. Like really, he needs a massive buff. Okay, next up, the survivors. I didn't really place them in any particular order here, so just here we go. First up is Builderman. He's the only one going in D tier. He's like, I feel like I just don't like Trapper survivors because, especially Builderman, because the problem with Builderman is that um he has nothing outside of his sentry. Like his dispenser is pure, it's just not that great. So his only good thing is his sentry, but it can just be destroyed in two M1s or just one ability. And after that, Builderman is useless. So if you just target Builderman, he has nothing. And yeah, he's just utterly defenseless if he doesn't have a sentry pre-built, and even if he does have a sentry, it's just so easily destroyed that it doesn't do that much, especially against killers like Gas66 who can charge you directly after destroying the sentry. It just doesn't do a whole lot, and his dispenser is not enough to make up for it. Especially when you consider someone like Elliot could just throw a pizza and heal 20 HP, whereas dispenser heals like 40 at a certain point. Like dispenser heals only 1 HP every second, which is like average for a second match lasts around like 5 to 6 minutes. So you're gonna be healing like it's gonna take a. You're gonna be if you want to heal full HP, you're gonna be spending like a third of the match just sitting by a dispenser, which is not ideal. So overall, I just don't think he's that great of a survivor. Like on certain maps, he can utilize his sentries a little bit better than others, but like it's still just not that great. Next up, Noob. Noob is fairly solid. He's like pretty average. Like his survivability is really good compared to like he's just very consistently good. Like against every killer, he has something. He has something. Mainly his Boxy Cola. His Boxy Cola really is just a big part of his kit. It's what makes him pretty good because you always, if you time it right, you can always just get a speed boost for like 10 seconds. Yeah, speed 1 for 10 seconds, I believe. So yeah, it's really decent. Flakekin's also decent. It gives, if the killer has like a massive stamina advantage over you for some reason, then you can just pop in and equalize. Even if you're at a disadvantage because killer's just faster, you're still gonna be better off than before, and you also kept yourself alive for like an extra 10 seconds or whatever. Yeah. And then Ghostburger is kind of is good in specific situations. It's good at the start of LMS to just disorient killers who don't have easy access to the detection, like Slash or Cool Kid. But it's not the best for sure. Overall, he's just a decent and like really what you would expect from a survivalist. 007 and 7 is going at the bottom of C tier. He is not that great. He is just wildly inconsistent because, like, first of all, you're not gonna trick anyone good for that matter. The only reason I really place him above Builderman is because he is a decent counter to 1x. Because the problem of 1x is once he starts getting like within moderate range, you are just going to be relentlessly. He's just going to relentlessly spam projectiles at you, and you have to dodge all of them, or else you're just dead, basically. So, and 077 is decent at just staying away. Just like if you know how to time his abilities and like know how to like look for the signs of a killer about to, like if you are expecting a chase, you and you know how to use 77, you can time it and you can just be on the other side of the map before a chase starts. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, and you can do some cool stuff with the clones, like clone pairing, but like most of the stuff you can do with clones is just a timer. Like the killer just has to wait until your clone dies and then just kill you. So overall, he's just inconsistent. He just relies a lot on the killer being dumb and falling for either like a clone parry or from that. If they fall for a clone, they're really dumb. But like, that's another thing you can try, I guess. Overall, his bellies are just like rely a little bit too much on the killer and not on your own skill. Veronica. For a while, I thought Veronica was just good because when I played her after the nurse, I wasn't that great because I got used to how OP she was. Now she isn't overpowered, but she is still really good. Like I've been trying her out a little bit more recently and finding that she is really good. First of all, she is the only one who is like actually a decent counter to 1x because you can't really throw out projectiles while she is skating because she just has too much mobility. It's way too easy for her to dodge it as compared to just running. So now that Alex does have his projectile spam, he is surprisingly a lot less powerful. And like, oh, for all like, Skate isn't nearly as OP as it was before because you can't cross the map and leave the killer in the dust. The killer is going to be on your trail because it's not very efficient. It's like the energy usage is very high now, so you have to land a lot of tricks to make it worth it. But still, it's still a really good ability, especially if you're able to get the boost from Phase and Bumper. And yeah, there's a reason why you should target Veronicas. They are still very powerful. And if you leave them alive or if you let them set up their graphies, they're going to take a while to kill. I had one game where there was like only 2 survivors left, and one there was Veronica, and I had to target the Veronica as 1x for like 3 minutes because they just had everything set up, and that's just how powerful she is when everything's set up. Shaletsky, very average, kind of like noob. He is very consistent, but like his abilities aren't too effective. Like healing his fried chicken is a really good ability for Sentinel, especially because like especially if the killer doesn't target you, which killers aren't going to be like too aren't going to target you too much. And if they don't, if they're like too busy targeting Ellie and you like miss your stun, you get punished. If they just see a survivalist or an Elliot and go target them instead, then you get to heal. Or if you stun them and get away, you can heal. Or if someone else stops them or like distracts them, then you can get away and heal. It's a decent ability, and his stun is like meh. It's kind of yeah, it's just kind of like it's really hard to hit, especially on people who are like paranoid, but you can use that to your advantage by faking a slash, and also if you're in the middle of a chase and you know how to time it right, you can hit slashes fairly consistently. And the 2.5 second stun is still really good. So yeah, overall he's consistently average, I would say. Guest. For a while I thought Guest was just awful. He is not awful. Like I severely underestimated how powerful his abilities can be in the right hands. First of all, block is kind of depends. Its effectiveness kind of depends on the killer. Against killers like Noli, you will crush them. Against like Guessing Six, you will perform fairly well. Against the killer like 1x or Slasher or Ghoul Kid, you'll probably not be doing as great. But when it comes to blocking, because Cool Kid and Slasher, you really can't react to their attacks, and also they have really good punching moves if you miss. And 1x just has ranged attacks that completely counter your blocks. But that doesn't mean he's completely helpless against those kills, because Charge is surprisingly effective. Like, if you use it on a slope, the kill goes flying. Like, they lose so much distance from Charge, it's insane. Like, and also, not to mention, if in this rare case scenario where you knock them off a cliff and they have to like go all the way around to get back up to you, like that one place at your resting place, like you can like easily just knock killers off at that spot, at that one on that one hill, and they have to go all the way around and uses a lot of stamina. Yeah. So yeah, it is very effective. Charge is a very effective move if you know how to use it. And like 15 extra HP doesn't do a whole lot, but it's still decent. Basically, like he has a lot of ways to negate damage, which makes him fairly powerful. If like the one problem I kind of have with him is it's really hard to actually protect other people because like it's really hard to block for other people because you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know what your friend's gonna do. So it's really easy to miss a block like that. Yeah, they can still use charge to help them. He is still decent at helping out teammates. Overall, he is a very powerful sentinel, and like, yeah, I would highly recommend once you get good at the game to try him. Although I recommend using up other options until because he is extremely hard to use. Chance. Chance is a really good sentinel. He is basically the perfect sentinel. He has range. He has ways to be tanky, and he is just overall really decent. Like the only problem I really have with him is his only real self defense is his one shot, and you only get like one shot, as the name would suggest. Because if you miss that shot, then you can't really reroll until you get another one. Because you would gain way too much weakness from that. But it is still really good if you don't miss. So yeah, a range stun is really good as you would expect because you don't have to necessarily be in the action to stun the killer. You can like stand off and like shoot the killer to give the survivor chasing a lot of distance. And like the stun time is dependent on how far away they are from you. So if you're in the middle of a chase, it's really good for getting away because it inflicts a lot of stun, and if you're far away, it still inflicts a decent amount of like 2 seconds of stun. The only problem is like he is very consistent. There is the occasional worst case scenario where your gun doesn't go off or explodes, but that there's only a 10% chance that one of those two things happen. And like even if the gun explodes, there's still a chance the killer's right next to you, happens to be right next to you to like punish you and just gets blasted. I have had that happen like one or two times where I didn't think it would do that much, but it kind of sometimes does something. It's kind of really funny. But if your gun does nothing, there's really no chance the killer's just gonna punish you. But still, he is still a very consistent and very, very good survivor. He can also, like I already mentioned, he has a reroll, so he can get up to like 130 or so HP, which is very good. Overall, he is just very consistent and very consistently good. Two time has gone significantly worse since he was a couple months ago, but he is still a very powerful survivor. He is still a very decent sentinel. He relies a lot more now on sneak attacking the killer, whereas before you can kind of just be in chase and just throw out a backstab. That requires a lot more skill. So now, like, if you want to consistently get backstabs, you have to like have the killer already chasing someone, then like stab them from around the corner, which is a very decent strategy. And like now, like he doesn't get as much of a buff in LMS, because now it scales with how much oblation you get. You should still target 2 times really before LMS, at least until you have them use their first life so they don't get their buffs. Overall, he is just like, and also in chase, he is still pretty decent. I've still had 2 times land some backstabs on me while in the chase. It, but overall, he has just like all the stupid parts of him where he was just able to get free backstabs for with almost zero skill. They don't. That doesn't happen anymore. you have to actually be good at using 2 times. So now he is a hard use, but he's still a very good sentinel, and you should probably like. I would probably recommend trying him after like trying one of the other sentinels. Elliot. He is undoubtedly the best survivor in the game. I never really like until you've really played Elliot for a while, you really don't realize how OP Rush Hour is. And like Pizza Throw is still a pretty decent. It's still pretty decent. It's a really good support ability. It's probably not the best support ability in the game, I feel like, but it's really good. And on top of that, he has like one of the best survivability. He is undoubtedly the best survivability out of all the supports in the game. Because Rush Hour is just an instant speed boost, which you don't realize how powerful that is until you play as Ellie and just like it's more effective against serial killers than others. Like against like Slasher and Wax, it's pretty good. Against like Guess the Six School Kid, Noi, it's not that great because they can just dash and negate that speed boost. But overall, it is just very powerful and it's really good survivability. And when it comes to support, he's like a lot of people call him the win condition because his ability kind of works like that. You can keep your server life for very long if the killer does not target you. Like what the best strategy for killing Ellie is just to not damage anybody else because if you do, they get their rush hour back. So like and not targeting Ellie, it means that the survivors just get like a free 40 HP every like minute or so, which is a lot. So yeah, the only really way to counter Ellie is just target him right off the bat and kill him as quickly as you can, which can be easier said than done because a good team will not let that happen very easily. And so, yeah, he is just extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Dusukar is like one of, if not my favorite survivors to play because he's a very good support. He has like I would say he has the second best survivability of all supports. Obviously behind Ellie, but because his plasma beam, like slowness, is really probably a lot better than you think. Plasma beam is a pretty decent ability. His abilities are mostly support based though, and when it comes to support, Dusker is like undoubtedly the best support. Like you can keep a survivor alive for so long with Dusukar. Like once like sustained was survivor for like server like one day, who was obviously not that great, but I was able to just keep him alive because Dusukar is just that strong. Like damage negation and like speed and slowness is really good on Survivor. So yeah, overall, that's really all I have to say on him. He is consistently good as a support, and like a lot of killers will probably target you. You just have to keep your distance. That's like, which shouldn't be too difficult, and just like be good at looping. You just have to know how to loop, which you really have to do with every survivor. Next up is Taff. I don't really think Taff is that great, kind of like Billerman, but I feel like Taff is definitely a little bit better than Billerman, mainly because you aren't completely useless in chase, and also I feel like his traps are a little bit more effective. Whereas Billerman Sentry can just be taken out really quickly. Taff's traps have a lasting effect, and also you can place multiple of them, whereas you can only have one sentry. So that's the main differences. I just feel like overall, Taft's abilities are a little bit more effective, and you can place more of them, which is why I would place him above Bellingham. But he also kind of just has the same problem as Bellingham, as once you get rid of the traps, he has nothing left. So overall, he isn't terrible, but he isn't the best. So that's my tier list. You can argue about it in the comments. Yeah, I may upload the Power Playtime videos sometime, but like it's not gonna be this week because I just don't have time for anything right now. So yeah, next time. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.